academic and executive directors of the UNESCO Chair in Education Technology for Social Change, invited speakers, ladies and gentlemen. The Universitat Oberta de Catalunya, UOC, created in 1995, is probably the first university in the world that started since its foundation totally online. Distance universities existed before us, but none had been created yet totally online at that time. In these last 20 years, the UOC has been an active agent in pedagogical innovation. This innovative and high-quality approach has been focused into an offer to our students of educational courses and degrees able to combine proximity, ubiquity, and employability, among other factors. In this approach, research and pedagogical innovation are pivotal issues. These traits and values remain still valid, but we need now to be able to adapt to an extremely competitive and changing context. With this aim in mind, and over this first year and a half in office, we have driven the rollout of a strategic plan that is respectful of our idiosyncrasy and at the same time ambitious and innovative. Strategic plans have to be transformative, and this depends strongly on the level to which they have been internalized by the organization itself. The UOC's 3 UNESCO chairs, as part of the organization, have also been aligned with the 5 strategic pillars that we have defined for the road to 2020. I would like to highlight the pillar that reads, "To promote excellence in research." This pillar contains 2 strategic aims that are very relevant to the UNESCO chairs. Firstly, the aim that reads, "To be a university that is internally renowned for frontier research on the knowledge society and for excellence in translational research on e-learning." And secondly, the other aim that reads, "To increase production of excellent research throughout the UOC and establish a strategy to disseminate and transfer knowledge that covers the UOC's activities." As a consequence, let me welcome this seminar that I understand fulfills both aims mentioned before. I'm sure that your work during these 2 days will strengthen the position of this UNESCO chair in terms of its contribution to the UOC research strategy. This will mean that not only this UNESCO chair, but also our university, have relevant research impact, and consequently the UOC is adequately performing its social duties. Finally, let me thank all the participants for attending the seminar, the speakers for their contributions, and the UNESCO chair for the organization of this meeting. Thank you very much.
Hello. I believe my role will be now just to place our program and this conversation into the context of the more global debate and contemporary developments of the curriculum reform, which is being carried out throughout different continents right now. So, first of all, I think we need to clarify why we really need a new curriculum. And it's now becomes absolutely obvious because there is an immense pressure from the sources of very different kind, pressure to change the way and the curriculum we teach according to. So this is the pressure for politicians who are insisting that our countries have to win the competition in the global market and global economy, and business especially, because no secret that we, with the whole incredible rise of the number of the people graduating from the higher education institutions, they are not actually ready to the employment they were supposed to have. Students are complaining that they feel that when they come to their workplace, they feel completely out of connection with the world which they meet. Parents, there is a huge outcry and manifestations in different places because parents complain with the complication and increase of importance of the math studies and whatever. They are becoming so confused that they, having their own higher education diploma, they are not able to cope and to help their kids with their homework. Something must be wrong. And recent global trends in the higher education, as we said already, with this massification, makes that the scale of all these misunderstandings, of all these mismatches between what we teach, what we prepare for, and what the employers need is going also multiplying. And it's now impossible, let's say, to avoid or disregard. And what massification means, it's not only means that there are plenty of students, it also means that the diversity of the student body is growing immensely. So it stopped to be a kind of elite activity of the well-to-do kids, well-off kids from good families. It's being massive means that the students come from all the walks of the society, but we teach one program for everyone. So there is also important thing. And the debate about the goals and mission of education now becomes not a, let's say, philosophic or linguistic exercise. It becomes really a necessity to understand what the educational institutions have to put as a mission for them. Should they, well, recent crisis, economy, and all this changing in the, let's say, in the profiles and identities of the students, call us to the to provide them with the opportunity for the very good profession, occupation, and possibility to earn a good earning for good life. But more and more so. For example, if you look into the Europe and the United States, there is a significant difference you can see, because European Union especially were very pragmatic in defining the goal of higher education institutions as to make students employable and to be able to succeed in the labor market. And of course, it means what it means. The curriculum and the understanding and the plans of the teachers and administration are changing to that side. As for the United States, for example, in North America, in general, the tradition of the liberal arts education is much stronger. So there is, again, a mismatch. And if you think about the mobility of both students, professors, of the academics, and general mobility in the world, we now can see that the disparity is, can be felt very well. So employment, but we know very well, and now in a phenomenal, I would say, development is going on in the United States. Already several universities are calling for their graduates to have another degree from the university. Why? Because, for example, humanities students, they, after having rambling around, they either cannot find a job, or this is a job of a much lower level they were expected and actually prepared for. So, for example, in Oregon State University, they are now opening a special program for the unemployed graduates for the same university. And you know, as always, comments of the readers tells us very often much more than the main piece of text. And there are readers, among them the professors, of course, which call it this development where we see today the higher education immoral and irresponsible, because the amount of debts the students very often find themselves after first graduation does not disappear with the need to have a second one. There are some, and of course, so which calls for the educators now to consider in the curriculum some provision of developing entrepreneurial skills, because we have to prepare the students also for self-employment or starting a new business. So all this together calls also to very important question about the role of science education, because it was assumed that STEM, science, technology, and engineering and math profiles of the education should have, should despair in the importance, because it was supposed that this is the core capabilities that would help to succeed. Well, this is, I would say, we are actually talking here about numbers against values. And this is a fascinating discussion. We, of course, now not going into it, but it's a very crucial one. Again, how it reflects in our quest for a better curriculum is already a few numbers of universities who started to look for some special degree. And classes, courses, which would be a fusion of math and arts approaches to the education. And this is not a double one, not in parallel. They really go together and try to give more diverse approach to the vision of the world. And one of them is Harvard. They started already 2 masters, which exactly have a fusion of computer science and arts in one single degree. So, we all understand that the changes have to be made now. There is no other approach because status quo does not work. So when should we start this change? Obviously not in the higher education level, because this is only the tip of the iceberg, and this is the visible part of the problem where the results are kind of coming in blossom. But we always were kind of proponents of the vision that education is one system, a whole one. And what we have today is certainly a short-minded solution. And who actually said it, that it's much easier to educate a child than to repair a broken man. That's what we actually are doing in the current situation, trying to resolve problems of mismatch, of horrible disconnect between different levels of education, trying to repair all this on the level of higher education. That's why you will find in our program that we are trying to see the problems and solutions which go across ages and across different levels of education. This is not the first time we are trying to do. It's a very, very difficult task, but if you don't do it continuously, well, we will never succeed. So, of course, we will be talking not only about what we teach, but how we teach, all the incredible variety of the new learning methodology, and a very important and very difficult unsolved questions of assessments methods. And we also will, you will see in the program things which we will talk about this. And of course, how we start with all this work, when to start, and which level. And well, our very first talk will address exactly that. Looks like now, and everyone, I believe, in his or her own place, but Kathy Davidson will tell us more about this. And this will be that's it about our program, and just a few organizational remarks. First of all, we kind of change our habit to have our working language only in English. But this year we decided that maybe it will help a little bit fluidity of conversation and more interactivity, and we invited translators. And please feel free, especially in discussions, if you have any let's say, rough state of your English or whatever, take a device and join us in your own language. And the other thing that one of our demos, the last one, I guess, of from India about self-learning, it's absolutely, I would say, an amazing case. The demo presenter Ankit was not able to come from India because of the finances, of course, and we are doing this with Skype. I hope it works very well, and we tried it at least, well, Gerard promises that it will go. And so we have also a seminar dinner tonight. Please join us. It's a nice, nothing folk, or let's say, place. It's a very Catalan, but contemporary, that's very contemporary cuisine, a good fusion of the Mediterranean stuff. And if you haven't signed up, you still have to just talk to Gerard. So basically, whatever you have, problems or suggestion, there is Gerard. Yeah, I invite you also to Twitter. Our hashtag is there. Twitter always has been our very good friend. We had already several seminars very actively followed by people from very different places, and please add to this conversation. And finally, I want to thank our sponsor, which is La Caixa, the most important bank here, which has a wonderful program called Internationalization at Home. That's what we are doing now, actually. We internationalizing ourselves with our speakers and our conversation. And only thanks to their donation, we were able to make this seminar at all. As you know, last year we couldn't do it at all. That's the situation in Europe, at least right now. So thank you very much, and I would invite Professor Kathy Davidson and excuse me, and one word for Albert Sangrà, our academic director.
Just good morning. My role will be another one in the last session of the seminar, having a summary of what we are going to discuss this time. I would like just to welcome all of you and to thank also your participation, your presence here, the support of the Open University of Catalonia, and particularly of the Interdisciplinary Institute, IN3, who is also holding the chair. And just to say that the UNESCO chair at UOC is expected to be a place for discussion and for envisioning what is going to happen, which is the future of education and technology in such a kind of social change that we are expecting to. So the fact is that most of the impact and influence that we can give to the society will start today and tomorrow here in order to discuss and to give your insights and to try to elaborate also good ideas in order to spread out to other people all over the world in order to put them in practice. Some of them will be presented today and tomorrow here, and some of them will be the very next future of a lot of people working. So thank you so much for being here, for participating in such an amazing adventure, because it is, and we will do our best for everything. And in fact, yesterday we were trying to fix a little bit the rain issue. It seems to be have been quite successful. So let's wait that
better
things
today, no?
will be in this way, and that the rain will be a rain of ideas inside this room, and also broadcasted by video and by Twitter and your blogs and so on. So thank you so much, and let's go.